future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
This. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Plus This. I'm Kathy Deach.
And I am Eva Tingley.
And it's been a week.
It's been a week of like, and a week of like, that was awesome!
Yes. Yes.
And something delicious for tomorrow, too, that we'll talk about in a sec.
Yes. I am so excited we have one of our besties back.
I know.
Food Network star contestant Rosa Graziano.
Chef Rosa.
Chef Rosa Bella. She taught me all the Italian I know, which is none. But I will
tell you that one time
makes.
I have a friend named Francine, and I was real drunk, and she was talking to me in Italian, and I understood everything she was saying. I was like, hey, who knew?
You were just channeling.
You speak Italian.
I love it. Well, she just took a trip to Europe and spent a lot of time in Italy with her family, and I can't wait to hear all about it. Yeah, I mean, her pictures are ridiculous. Go to her Instagram, Rosa Graz, guys.
Well, we're gonna show you some pictures too, but
they're really,
not till
really
later.
beautiful.
Not till later.
Yeah. We have lots.
And then we went to the Point Foundation, which was gala, which was amazingly wonderful.
And
with guest last week's Carrie Rose.
Yes.
Cecil.
Cecile.
Cecile.
We keep doing it. Just add an E to the end. No. Put an accent on it.
It's an L-E, right? Cecile.
But she spells it C-E-C-I-L.
Right. So it needs another L and an E.
Or
Cecile.
an accent on the I, maybe.
Whatever.
Or we should just look at it and say it right.
Just know her name. God.
Because she was such a hit. Was she not?
She was so hilarious. She came out with Pete.
With Pete, yes.
And they had such
her
great
mentor and showrunner at How to Get Away with Murder, right here in our building. I hope he comes down and says hi to us.
I hope
he
so
said
too.
He said he was like, oh wait, are you in that like weird little corner office on the first floor by the elevators? I was like, yeah, and he was like,
yeah, we are in that weird corner.
What is it? And I explained it to him. He's like, that's like the most amazing thing ever. And he's like, I'll totally find you one day.
You're like, baby's in the corner every Thursday.
Exactly. But the two of them were so cute.
Oh my gosh, they were
stole
so
the
cute.
night.
And there were so
funny.
many Point scholars there that night. I think we have pictures of them, and we have pictures of how cute she was on
and she looked
stage.
great. She ended up getting a tour dress
She
after all.
did.
She figured it out. She looked beautiful.
She sure
She's
did.
just so full of joy, and everyone like really hooted and she didn't need us.
I know. Like
she's like a fan favorite.
Our hooting and hollering was like a drop in the ocean of hooting and hollering for her.
Exactly. And of course, we learned a lot about issues that are still plaguing the LGBTQ community, and about how to inspire people to help them get ahead. Marginalized people need to get ahead, and we heard a lot of the things that we say in here in that night, and I think that we really are all the same.
The thing that struck me so much was there was a girl, I think her name was Nia, and she is a trans woman of color, and she said that trans women of color don't usually, the average age life expectancy is 35. And she was like, I'm 34.
Yeah.
And it just broke my heart to think that she, could have less than a year to live, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Or that's the statistics.
Right.
That she doesn't have peers her age.
Right.
Once she gets older, who's
dwindles,
around her?
right.
Who's around? No, I
know, it was really hard.
So things are life or death.
Right.
As we know. And there's a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about today about the healthcare industry, literal life and death.
Right.
But there's also some other things that are happening. So we did this amazing shoot with the fine art photographer that we ended up meeting
that we were complaining about last week. We're like, we haven't heard from her. And then she was texting us during our show.
Yeah, she totally was.
Literally was.
She totally was. And we went to the beach.
Real early, Monday morning.
and
started our morning.
Her Sheila series.
Yeah,
photos.
look at these pictures. They're so fun.
Amazing, guys.
I mean, let's just make a mental note that Eva should never have short, dark hair. It's not attractive.
I mean, there's nothing
but this picture of me up. If you guys are listening on the podcast, you need to go look at our Instagram because it's there. And I look ridiculous in this wig.
And I looked like my grandmother, apparently.
No,
Everyone
you look.
text
I told you the second that you put that on, I was like, you look like your mom at her wedding.
Yes,
like, exactly.
But apparently, my grandmother had a bathing suit a lot like that in the 60s. Yeah. Whatever.
You look like a conglomeration of the both of them.
Sure.
I don't know, whatever the word is. But it was so fun. Everybody there was great.
Oh, so great. And so funny that, like, you would kind of get whipped up into this like party ecstasy, and then Marjorie would want us to crash.
Right, and she'd be like, "Okay, now bored." We'd be like,
and then like serious ennui would sink in, and like I wasn't really kidding around. Do you know what I mean?
In that group photo, you look. If you like zoom in on it, Kathy looks like she wants to murder somebody.
I look like I'm plotting a death.
Yeah,
like my husband's death. I'm trying to think of who I can call to take him out. That might have been my character choice.
No, and Peter was like, "Why are you wearing sunglasses?" I was like, "Do you know what time of morning it was and how bright it was?" I'm like, "These blue eyes cannot handle that."
Yeah, you would have been sneezing.
I totally would have been the worst.
I love that Treat Yourself Day is tomorrow.
I know, and especially because Rosa's bestie is like in on that Treat Yourself Day.
I mean, Retta is kind of mad she doesn't get royalties.
Right? But it is tomorrow, October 13th, is Treat Yourself Day. So how are you guys going to treat yourself? How are you going to treat yourself, Kathy Deach?
I'm working.
I know, me too.
But I feel like I had a massage on Monday.
Oh, so you treated your precursor Treat Yourself.
Yeah.
It was Treat Yourself week for Kathy.
Pretty much. I'm like trying to zen
I
out.
should have had a massage because I had like a hamstring pull from running up and down the beach.
Well, isn't it interesting? Like everyone I know's back is out, like my back is out, but everyone's back is out. And I just think that there's like some kind of like psychic energy that just goes right for where your emotional stuff is. And that's where it is. It's in your back.
With everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. And one of the things is we all, obviously the Harvey Weinstein thing is terrible. And I've been doing a lot of reading on it, which is really emotionally taxing.
There's all these other things that are coming out about other executives who are also doing it now too, which is
because it's
sexually harassing people.
To
Let's
think
just
that
be real
it's
about what's happening.
One industry that Hollywood has a corner on this is a huge mistake.
Right.
That would be like you're living in oblivion.
Oh no,
like,
I worked in the wine industry and literally was sexually harassed every day, and when I said it to my boss, I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I'm being sexually harassed by this person," and he was like, "Yeah, I hired you because I figured you could handle it." I was like,
because that's the way to handle sexual harassment.
Okay, but like this old man who's like 70 is like grabbing me and making comments about my breasts at work. Inappropriate, right? He's like, "Yeah, but you can handle it. You can handle it."
Wow.
Literally what he told me.
Wow.
Like to my face.
Wow. Yeah. So, that being said, I've been thinking a lot about how it's all, it makes me mad because film started very equal footing with men and women behind the camera writing scripts. In the very early age of film, it was very much equal footing. And then Wall Street came into finance and everything changed. And now we have the shit show. And it is all connected. It is not just men expecting women to sleep with them to get parts. People might think that people who look like you and me are not part of the equation because we're not Hollywood beautiful. Well, guess what? It is still that busted male gaze thinking that makes people not hire women unless they fit a certain type.
Right.
So it's a systemic problem, and we need to be in charge. So I say, anybody who's pulling out of the Weinstein company with their projects, why don't you go find a woman-run company?
Right.
They're out there. Why don't you go get women financiers? Like, Like, let's stop giving money to this. And like, let's like, if you really want to help, if you really want to change the conversation and change the way things are going, then we need to start investing in women, like in a huge way. And I'm not even talking about 50-50. I'm like, fucking let's take over, because you've had enough of your time. You've had enough of your time. I'm fucking sick of it. Anyway, so that I'm in that place right now.
The thing that I find funny is that everyone's like so up in arms about Harvey Weinstein's sexual assault, blah, 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 blah. But like, it was okay for our president to do it.
Oh. And
like, we'll still vote for him.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter that he did that. I still want abortions to be illegal. So I want a Supreme Court person in there. And that's more important than someone sexually assaulting somebody.
Because, there was a presidential candidate. I can't remember who it is. Oh, it's going to drive me nuts. But he spelled the word potato wrong. And literally didn't get elected because of that.
Yeah, he was a vice president, and he didn't get the nomination.
And like, why? Like, that is something that like, oh, he can't spell potato. He's out.
Well, that was back in the day. I mean, this is a new whatever. So another thing that happened that is definitely in this realm, Mitchell Sutherland
from Vice
was fired. Thank Christ. And he also was like a senior writer for
the women's department.
They're broadly. They're women, the feminist vertical. And like, he was in charge of it.
Yeah.
He was in charge of it, guys. And
why is a man in charge of the feminist movement?
It's also
in that.
It's also Vice. And Vice, that guy who runs Vice, who owns that big company, who's like a bazillionaire, he also is known to be like a real pig. Like, again, rumblings underneath.
Right.
It's the same exact thing. It's like everyone plays nice, though, because he's really powerful. It's literally the same thing. So this guy wrote an email. So BuzzFeed did a big article revealing how Breitbart and, help me with the last name, Milo.
Oh, Yiannopoulos.
Tried to change, because, she has Greek in her family.
I'm Greek by insertion, guys.
So she helps me with the Greek. So it's a big article about how they took over the GOP with the alt-right movement. Like, how they, like, bit by bit, plan by plan, did this. And one of the emails...
Well, okay, so this is what I was trying to think, like, why... how can you justify that behavior if you are the head of the feminist movement of this company Vice, who's like kind of doing all these exposés on all this stuff? How can you justify this action? And I was just like, there's just no justifying giving, like, oh, I can't write about this, so let me do this. Let me give this. But we
have to say what they said. We haven't said that yet. So this guy, Mitchell Sunderland, wrote an email to Milo Yiannopoulos. Thank you. About Lindy West, who we are big fans of.
Huge fans of.
And who is a plus-size feminist activist, amazing woman. And he wrote, please mock this fat feminist. He basically was like, have Breitbart target her.
And the next day they did.
And they did. So, it is personal, and it is about women. It's not even about, I don't even think it's about party anymore, because you can be a liberal misogynist. You can be a liberal sexual predator. You can be an amazing artist. You can have a genius point of view on things. You could be an incredible artist and still be a sexual predator and still be a sociopath. You can be all those things, and I think that that's what we don't like to remedy. We like a trope.
We want everybody to be compartmentalized perfectly, and
yes,
we are just like you and I are we're just like full people. Our lives we're not just one thing.
Yes.
And I think that people have a hard time with that.
Yeah, and both of us have read this book called The Sociopath Next Door.
Yes.
And the thing that it really warns you against is you think sociopath or psychopath, and you think murderer.
Right.
You think a Jeffrey Dahmer, which BT dubs that he was.
Yeah,
it's
sure,
true.
it is that.
But also #inclusive. So it's not just... It's not just a sociopath that's going to murder you. It's a sociopath who's going to be really charming and find a way to convince everyone he is in charge of to go with the plan on how to very methodically sexually assault and sometimes rape, and I don't doubt them from 1 minute that they were raped, women. And have all these people become...
It's all about manipulation, right? It's all about the manipulation of that, and specifically that women aren't as believable.
Yeah. And I do think that he has great taste in movies.
Oh, yeah.
He makes great movies and can still be a sociopath sexual predator. Like we don't have to separate them.
I meant to tell you, so after we did the shoot with Marjorie, one of the girls on the car ride back had said, "Oh, I worked at a hotel and Harvey used to come in all the time. And we used to call him the monkey man because he was just so primitive. And no one wanted to take his table. No one wanted to take his table." And I will tell you that as a waitress, that's an acceptable position to be like, "Oh, hey, sweetie, I don't want to know your name. I'm just going to call you sweetie and baby and talk to you however, because that's trying to be cute." And it's just not.
It's not. So we're just going to say it from now on, right? We're just going to say it's not cute anymore.
It's not.
We're just going to say it. And if we don't...
and I have called out people being like, "I'm sorry, she has a name. What is your name?" And then they'll say it and I'll be like, "Oh, so you don't have to call her sweetie anymore. Let's call her Megan."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, things are blinking.
Kathy doesn't know how to turn off her sound on anything.
But that's perfect because we should go because we should get Rosa out of here. Well, I'm taking a break with Rosa in the chair when we come back. Plus this.
You know that 67% of American women are size 14 and above.
You mean they look like this?
Yeah, girl.
So then where are we in television and film?
And where are we in fashion magazines and clothing stores?
Yeah.
So we want to help out entertainment and fashion and media.
Catch the F up.
Topics get hot. We want to hear what y'all have to say.
And they will get hot.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you. It's kind of like a dirty little one. So if you had to do a love scene with somebody else famous, who would it be?
Oscar Isaac.
Love how I asked you that and you had an answer right away.
We sang, we laughed, we cried.
You got to go back. No, we didn't cry.
We didn't cry.
Everybody should be able to be seen in, maybe not every single campaign, but let's try to include it in as many campaigns as we can.
Witchy poo, we told you.
We're just putting it in the cauldron for you.
We're going to get those candles. Yeah. People are having sex with us. We need to show that we're part of this society, and being sexual is part of that.
Absolutely.
So tough titty, you're fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, watch a fat girl love herself.
Applause,
But just
applause.
Just us. Applauding. So good.
Plus this. Hi. We're back. And Rosa Graziano's in the house.
She's trying to, I'm trying to show that I painted her. See how I painted her body behind her.
She had it really good, actually.
I know.
She done did that.
That's kind of why we came back all weird, because we were like, yeah, do it.
And I'm also trying to figure out my rig so I can talk to y'all.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
real. I don't know, guys. Sometimes the iPad works and sometimes it just
doesn't. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to be talking to Rosa Graziano because I am pretty much fascinated with your fingernails. I have all of the questions because I have the worst fingernails. They're short and stubby and they're just janky. I just picked them all off. Anyway, it's not the point. The point is Rosa Graziano has the most amazing nails. They're so sparkly.
It's been my new hobby.
They're so sparkly and fun, but I just am curious because they're very long and pointy. Because I don't know anybody else I can ask this. I'm just curious, how exactly do you go to the bathroom without scratching?
How does that work?
I'm just just put a whole wad of toilet paper to block it, to block the pokes. I'm just curious.
I thought she was going to ask me about my nails. I was like, well, what happens is I have a nail stand, and now you're like, how do you go take a shower?
Well, we need to check. We will show pictures of your
wipe your ass is how that. I was like, I know you wanted to hear about my bling.
No, we will talk about your nail bling, but that was my first question because I really have always wanted them.
Bidet.
Oh, so then you don't even have to.
On Amazon, you can get your own.
That's like
for
real
$40.
fancy.
Wait, no. For like $40, you get the bidet that you attach to the top of your any toilet bowl. You don't need like the fancy like over the top stuff, and it'll change your life. You're welcome, everyone.
Oh my gosh, it's
I'm
gonna
an
happen.
Italian. I was
And
raised
then
with
I'm
a bidet
gonna
my whole
come
life.
back with like long Leah Remini nails and just be like,
Leah
"Rah."
Remini.
Clean butt.
But I'm just curious, like, so then, because I watched Leah Remini on the Scientology thing.
I
She has
know!
the longest thing. She has the longest nails.
Her nails are a highlight.
I-
It's a lot of
right?
highlights.
Oh my God,
Everything
right?
She talks. And
Oh yeah.
when she cries,
Yeah.
it's very.
But I'm just curious. I'm like, she doesn't do dishes.
What do you mean? Because you do nails? Because I'm an animal. But that's why I do my own nails. I don't go get my nails done. I do them myself.
Oh,
because
you're
I
so
know me.
fancy.
I'll break it once a week. I'm always fixing them and whatever.
Are those your
Yeah.
real nails or they're like
no,
acrylics?
they're growing underneath.
Oh.
They're a powder acrylic, but I do them myself at my house while I'm watching TV.
I'm
at
gonna
night.
come over to
This is all
Rosa's
me.
nail salon.
What I also love is that Rosa also has been known to cut her own hair.
Yeah, I get yelled
So
at.
you really should have your own salon. It's
You
lovely.
really should.
When I was doing Food Network Star, every time I would come on set, they'd be like, "Oh, you with the makeup department?" I'm like, "No, I'm a contestant."
You're like, no, I'm gonna make food. I was really hoping that you would bring snacks for us
Oh.
because we need a snack
We love
for the
it.
50 minutes that we're here.
It's all right.
I'm like
It's all
craving
right.
everything pumpkin these days. Too. I'm already there.
Oh, are you making pumpkin things?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying not to, but I think so soon. I'm trying to behave. And
What's
be
your
good. But it
favorite-
smell it like you smell it in the air.
Yeah.
It's time.
What's your favorite pumpkin thing?
Well, I love a pumpkin pie, and I have to say a big shout out to Earth Cafe's pumpkin pie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got a graham cracker crust, guys. That is.
I've never
Ooh.
done
Yeah,
that.
you take the back of it because it's so thick, and you put it on top, and then it is.
Oh, yum. There's an Earth Cafe right by my work. Pumpkin pie.
Just do
Here
pumpkin
I come.
pie. I need you to report back on the pumpkin pie.
I will.
For real.
I will because I like a pumpkin pie.
My friends for birthdays will just go get one slice. Everybody else has like their cupcake or whatever, so that I can have the pumpkin pie.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
so sweet.
Do you know how to make theirs?
No,
No.
I mean I'm sure I could figure it out.
I'm
but
sure you
I
could.
mean, there's something to be said about that. The graham cracker. I mean, the crust is this thick.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
It's all about
It's
stuff,
happening
right?
It's all
tomorrow.
like brown
Yeah.
sugar
It's
and
happening
crust.
It could
tomorrow.
How do
literally
you
be
mess that up?
almost anything inside that crust. and
Yeah,
it doesn't even
exactly.
matter. It doesn't even
Exactly.
matter. So, you also went traipsing all around Europe this summer.
I mean,
You were fancy.
we were very jealous watching your Instagram, just like, oh, like,
Well,
just
when
look
your
at
friend
Rosa's.
Greta, who Snapchats the whole thing.
I
I'm
know.
I was like, girl, you gotta tell me when you're about to just bust
But
out.
there's some pictures
on your
up.
Snapchat.
There's some pictures up now. They just switched it out. But
my
there's
God.
one of you with the Leaning Tower of Pisa with
Oh
all
my
your
god, that was
ideas.
like major photo shoot for us. That was such a hot day. We
That
were
was
miserable.
so fun, though.
Miserable.
You don't
And
look
then the-
miserable. You look phenomenal.
glowing.
Sweating.
And
It was
then
sweat.
that's like
That glowing
you-
is sweating. It was
That's
sweating.
you in your
There's
dad's
like
town, right?
My dad's town. Yeah, they have like the festival where they literally carry the saints on their backs and the whole. The town shuts down. This Ferragosta in Italy, like everything slows down and it gets quiet, and there's festivals and people are on vacation. So mid-August, it's a fun time, but
It's hot.
I mean, and
It's
you're
hot.
fancy, like hanging out with Retta and Josh Gad and
Well, I-
little
well,
tiny cousins or something. I don't know.
I
in the
knew
picture.
I knew those people before they were Josh Gad or Retta. And I know you guys.
Oh,
before
right.
this.
That's
I'm-
true.
when
She
we're on
thinks I'm
vacation,
good company.
when we're on
Free, free,
vacation,
free.
just
Good
being
company.
like Snapchatting the whole thing, just gonna be like Eva Kathy.
So how did you feel? I mean, were you really? You guys were real fashionable over there.
Yeah.
Especially in Spain. I loved what you pulled out when you were in Spain.
I guess, yeah, I mean, listen, by the time the trip was over, I was over in Europe for 4 weeks. I wanted to burn my whole suitcase, everything I had. I was like, I could not look at anything another day. You know what I mean? Like wash or no wash. I was just sick of wearing the same thing over and over. We take the time to do our makeup and get ready and be girly girls and do that stuff. That's our favorite. Like that's my favorite part to go out. I have to tell you,
Is the getting ready.
Yeah, I do. I love getting ready. I have my glass of wine and I do my whole thing, and then afterwards I'll go out and I'll be like, "This is it."
She has such a production set up. She
Yeah,
has
I
like
really-
a
yeah,
mirror,
I
like
do.
old.
I bet you have like one of
lights.
those ring lights that's just
No,
like
not a
making
ring
you
light, but I
looking great,
the
amazing.
pre-ring light, like just an old
She's
school.
like the old school theater
yeah.
lights.
But it's old
Nice.
school theater lights.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like my favorite part. I don't know. I love doing all that stuff. I really do.
That's
I enjoy
fun.
It. I like being a girl. I like being a
She
woman.
enjoys
I should have brought my
girl.
picture of me that I sent to that I sent to Rosa because I don't know if you remember last time we had Rosa on. She had like this amazing hair that she did, and I was like, "How did you do that?" She's like, "Well, I braid it, and then I like put it in, and then I just like do this thing." I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna totally do it," and then I did it, and I was like,
she sent me an after.
I sent her. I literally my hair was like
play by play. I was like, and then this is the thing, and then play by play as I was doing my hair that night. Selfies.
No.
Cut to. She's like afterwards. I was thinking about that.
I know.
So
I was like, dang, I should have had that picture to show you.
It was great. I think I was on that text chain.
You were. I was like, oh, and then she was like, you need this tool. I was like, oh, I fail. I don't have
but I have
that
another
tool.
hack, which I'll share with you at another time.
Oh, nice.
We might have to do that. We might have to like do
the beauty
literally
hacks?
a Facebook Live beauty hack before we go out somewhere.
That'd be
just
so
all pile
fun.
over Rosa's little bedroom and like.
I make
just,
it my
like,
business. I do. I just enjoy watching. I could watch nail videos, makeup videos, hair videos all day long.
I love it.
I'd rather that than Trump and the Weinstein.
True.
Everything that you guys are just talking about. I was like, and here's Rosa. Let's talk about hair, makeup, and food, and nothing else.
But sometimes you need the distraction from all the craziness because how are you gonna?
No, I can't.
You can't
it's so heavy.
live your life in that.
I was like, I can't. It's a lot. It's so much. It's hard to listen to on the daily. It's hard to turn the TV on these days. It's hard to, and I'm too empathetic. Like I get crazy Italian.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and I gotta like control myself because it's an emotional thing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be sitting in the car and hear something and be like,
my blood boils.
Yeah,
heartbroken.
Yeah.
Not even the blood boil anymore. I'm beyond that. I'm like sick for it. Anyway, I don't want to.
No,
let's talk about. I'd rather keep it about the nails and the hair. One dimensional.
What about?
Let me be in denial.
Do you feel differently when you're in other places? I mean, do you feel the body stuff? I mean, certainly from here.
I had a great moment in Italy, actually. You know, so my cousins, we're related. We're all robust, my favorite word to say. We're all bigger women, and they love their food, and we're Southern Italian, and I'm on the beach, and me and my tankini on the beach, and all of them in their two pieces. You know what I mean? Like, and in their bodies, not only just two pieces, in their bodies. And I remember just watching them and being like, wow, what a difference. What a cultural difference. To the point that I looked like the fool because I was wearing a tankini. They were like, why are you wearing the skirt and the thing and the thing and the thing?
They're like, why
are you wearing a 14-piece? You're
like, 14 pieces. 14 pieces.
I'm like, these are stretch marks. And they're like, yeah, so what about us? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, you're just, yeah. So, and then I was like, you're more comfortable.
Do you think
body,
that if you lived there longer, that you would adjust, you would acclimate to that culture?
Well, I think the funny thing about that moment too was I had a moment where I was like, wow, I was really raised. My parents, I'm first generation Italian American. I was raised very Italian, and I didn't realize how Italian I was. And I feel like till this day, I mean, I'm very much the immigrant's child, and that's an interesting thing that I didn't realize. I knew that culture better than I know this culture, and it wasn't until I was there that I really got that. In regards to the food and all that stuff. But being here long enough, the body culture is something else.
Well, we're inundated by it.
Yeah, here in America. And Northern Italy, you know, it's a different. I have to be very specific about Northern and Southern Italians because it's a whole different ballgame. We talk about models up from Milan versus Southern, you know, even the cuisine is different and stuff like that. It's heavier. It's not as light and stuff. But anyway. Yeah, it was interesting to watch them and watch how much I do relate to that culture too as well, and things that I don't, you know, the habits that I've gained from here, which is, you know, the struggles of. It's also like as you get older too, your body changes, and you do get much more comfortable in your own skin. You know, these were older women that I'm talking about that I was watching on the beach and stuff like that. But the thing is, they're learning from us. They're watching us on Facebook. They're watching the Kardashian. They're like, Kardashian, Rihanna, the Kardashian. And I was like...
You're like...
Yeah. If I hear Despacito one more time this summer, like it was like, they're like, the world is small now.
Yeah.
We're not as fragmented. It's all... You know, and it's beautiful because I get to watch them grow and the social media and all this stuff. But it's a small world, and they're watching. It's all becoming. We're all contouring.
We are. I have a plate face. What do you want me to do? I have to contour. Or I
oh my
look
God.
like the moon.
I wish now that we were talking and I had that
plate
that
face.
meme that I sent you. Best Kathy Beach meme ever.
It was really good. We'll post it maybe on mine.
On yours.
Not on 4+ this is. On that note, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about...
We're going to take a very short break.
Very short break, and we're going to talk more about the healthcare industry and weight bias, guys. So I'm trying to get onto Facebook so I can hear what you have to say. You've already commented, so thank you for that. And we're going to talk a little bit about our viewers who have had their stories. So come back and join us at Plus This.
It's not the natural beauty products in your life, but the life in your natural beauty products. Linda Kammen's Aromatherapy Salon. LindaKammens.com for happier, healthier living.
Hi,
we're back.
Really
I told you it was really short.
It was, you warned me.
I did warn you. I was like, it's a very short break.
Oh, yes. I was like worried that we had to switch seats and stuff, but no, Rosa's by I like to call that the James Bond photo.
I love it. Did you make this?
I painted these both. All three, actually.
All of them.
Look at you.
Yeah, we like our colors.
I love it.
Except they don't have nipples. But I guess that makes them acceptable for Instagram.
But I have to tell you, that's what mine usually look like.
Just like a flat rounder?
Just like my nipples, it's very hard to erect. That's not what we
Hopefully
really wanted to talk
my
about.
Nephew's like,
sorry, nephews.
yes, I needed to know that about you, Kathy Deach.
Talk about poop again. Bidet. Amazon. Go get a bidet. Change the subject.
So,
Nails.
Rose, I don't even know if you know this because we haven't seen you in a second, but we are writing for Books for Better Living. The website.
We have a monthly article.
And
my girls.
We have sort of planned out the next almost year of articles. And this month was, as I like exhale, talking about heavier things, was about how to talk to your doctor when you're a plus size. And we're realizing that because maybe Books for Better Living doesn't really have that much of a plus size audience, like maybe it skews a little thinner, that we kind of have to explain to them why it's different for us at the doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And that meant that we had to do a bunch of research on...
Well, and we had such a limited amount of space, like we have like a limited word count. So then we were like, there's so much to unpack to try to explain this, like explain why it's this and why. And we were like, it was a challenge.
Yeah, it was a challenge. And also we kind of had to narrow it down, but we wanted to talk about it. And thank you for being up for it. Yeah. Talking about doctor's visits and what they're like. One of the shocking things that was said in one of the articles, and these are medical articles, guys. This isn't like, it's not
BuzzFeed.
It's not like HuffPo.
No.
So in these medical articles that are doing surveys and studying statistics, one of them said that even if you're as little as 13 pounds overweight, doctors treat you differently. And that was shocking. Shocking.
I hate when they're like, you have to get on the scale. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, I always tell them, I'm like, just so you know, I'm going to stand backwards on the scale. You can make note of it, but I'm not going to look at it.
Yeah. But it's not the getting on the scale as much as it's the lecture.
Yeah. Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
The lecture. I mean, right? We always get the lecture, and it always comes. You gotta, 20 more, or 30 more, or 40, and I'm like, I know. Yeah, I just feel like that's. I feel like that's been my whole life,
and that's that's before anything's even wrong with you. Like, if nothing's wrong with you, if nothing is wrong with you, why are people, before they even ask what's wrong with you, telling you to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds?
And there's also the thing, like, because I recall with my mom, it was always like the weight, because she was also a heavier woman. And, sometimes they just kind of discredit and say it's just the weight, and it's not. It's actually a medical issue. She would always say, my bones hurt. Which is crazy to say that because she ended up having leukemia, which is a bone disease. But it was always, my bones hurt. What's the response from the doctor?
Lose weight.
It's
because you have a lot of your bones. The pain is from the weight that's holding the bones.
Rosa?
Now, I mean, leukemia happens, whatever. But what I'm saying is, maybe if we got tested a little bit sooner or whatever, I mean,
Right,
listen,
but if they
it's a
had
whole
not-
different. I mean,
but
listen,
that's
I'm not a doctor. I mean, your white counts come down and they check it's a whole process before you find out you have leukemia. But what I'm saying is, it's just an interesting thing how quickly they go there.
Right. And instead of just
First.
going, hey, you know what? Let's just do a blood panel for everything.
Yeah.
And just make sure. And then I'm really hoping that maybe it is that you might just need to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds. But let's just do a scan just to check.
Yeah.
Because let me do the best job that I can possibly do for you.
And
But listen, I mean, I want to be for real too. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know when I'm, I fluctuate with my weight often. Going to that dance class I used to go to when I was in my 20s. But I think this is everybody as you age. As you get older, my knees are hurting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's there's definitely that happens, but that's different. I'm aware that that's what's happening, and I'm getting older, and my body's getting
Right.
that strain. So I just think that to just negate and just be like, it was just this.
Right. Well,
That's
unfortunately, that's
frustrating.
not just an anecdotal thing. That is a systemic problem.
Right.
One of the most shocking things. We have a couple of things. We have a meme for this, Jarvis. So there was an article, fat shaming in the doctor's office can be mentally and physically harmful. And it said in one study of over 300 autopsy reports, obese patients were 1.65 times more likely than others to have significant undiagnosed medical conditions. And they give examples of that.
Yeah.
And indicating misdiagnosis or inadequate access to health care. So this is a reality. That's 300
I think that's
people.
way common.
Yeah, I think so too. And
Yeah.
so here the problem
It's
I
really
have
disappointing.
is that we're being blamed for skewing an entire medical industry, right? So obesity, which it's like National Obesity Day, go fuck yourself, because obesity is such a bullshit term. It's based on something that was never meant to be for individuals. It's we still don't even know if being under a certain level of BMI actually makes you healthier. There are statisticians, I don't know. People
You
who
know
look
what we're
at
talking about.
stats.
You know what we're talking
In
about.
the middle of looking smart,
Yeah.
I can really be dumb, but I know what I mean. So basically,
Expound.
there are people who argue that it's actually 20 to 30 pounds heavier than that line that has the most healthy people, that has the people who have the least amount of chronic illnesses and diseases. So that's what I'm saying. Like all of this, like.
Well, my dad's always been overweight. My dad's old school Italian, and I was like, "Oh, what did the doctor said?" He said, "Oh, the doctor said I'm the most healthy fat man he knows because he does the blood work and he does everything." And the guy, I mean, essentially, he's healthy.
Yeah.
He is. He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I
Big
mean,
guy.
and that's what I was grateful
know?
actually that I had a new doctor, and the doctor, I had to bring up that I was overweight to the doctor because he was like, we're talking about all this stuff, and I thought for sure he was going to say something, and he didn't, and I was kind of like, okay, and then I was like, well, I'm going to bring this up to you, and he was like, well, he's like, let's do your blood test and let's like look at stuff before we like say that, and I was kind of like, okay. This is a new experience for me, but I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the last time I went to like doctors, like I had some digestion thing that was really weird, and I really hadn't changed my diet too much, and I had become a little bit less active, but I went to 3 different
Yeah, yeah.
doctors. I went to an internist, I went to a gynecologist, and I went to someone to take a look at my bladder. And all 3 of them did a blood panel, and I'm not gonna lie, they were surprised that it was so okay. And then I had to be like, I danced for 10 years on Broadway, so like I got this. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
Because
like,
guys, if you
yeah.
don't know, Kathy Deitch was on Broadway.
she's amazing.
She was on Broadway.
Whatever, guys.
An
I like to
amazing
throw that
voice,
around
an
sometimes,
amazing
but
singer.
I
You
feel like
all
I
must
have to
tune
be
in.
like really confrontational.
YouTube her, whatever you have to do.
You're
Right.
so gross. You're so
I'm like her
Even
biggest
more-
fan.
even
We're
more-
we went to
even
college together. You
even
went to
more
college,
gross
forget
than
it.
me. Even more gross than me. So that being said, a year later, I go to like a lens crafters to get my eyes checked.
Now the lens crafter
Now the-
doctor's yelling
wait,
about it.
hold
Oh,
up,
wait.
hold
Shut
up,
up.
hold up.
Let her tell the story.
So
It's nuts.
I'm at the lens crafters and I'm waiting around because they want to do this
like
scan. They
bottom
want to
line.
do this retina scan. They want to do this retina scan. I'm waiting for the thing. So it was like already dramatic. I was trying to leave. So then the result comes in. She sits me down. She's like, so there's like a spot on this, which means there's like a broken blood vessel. And I was kind of like, oh yeah. And she was like, yeah. So that's like a sign of diabetes, and I really feel like you should go to the doctor. And I was like, but I've been to. Have you been to a doctor lately? Yeah, like I've been to 3 doctors who all took blood tests, and I wasn't even cuspy. Like I'm not even cuspy on the blood sugar thing.
Yeah, me too.
And she's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna write you a referral to go. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like all freaked out, right? I'm all like, holy crap.
You're like, I have something in my
I got
eye.
something in my eye. Blah, blah,
I got
blah,
a
blah, blah.
diabetes eye.
And my mother, if you don't
common.
know, if you don't watch the show, it's a shame. But if it's your first episode, my mother's name is also Kathleen. And so Mrs. Kathleen Deach works for physicians. She's a physician's billing expert. So she also probably could have been a doctor if it was just like a little later
Well,
in
she
time.
kind of is. You can like ask her anything and she'll know
and
the
she
answer.
like knows about. She's in it. She's in
she
it.
like can like
So
just
of
like
course
be like,
I call my mother and I'm like, I'm really upset by this. This happened. Like, what else is a symptom? She's like, hold on, and she like goes and looks, and she goes, oh, conjunctivitis, and I was like, in my eye? You mean like I had last week and I used drops to get rid of it? And she was like, yeah. She's like, that also causes that, but that the eye doctor wouldn't think to ask me if, since I had run out of contact lenses because they were bothering me, if I had conjunctivitis at all.
right.
To think that she wouldn't
Like
ask
that
me.
wouldn't be the first thing that you asked.
thing that she
that
asked.
feels like
But that's and by the way,
101.
like
No, Kathy has a diabetes eye.
I
That's
got
it.
diabetes in my eye.
diabetes in her eye. Diabetes.
I got eye diabetes. Anyway, so
No, that's totally.
yeah. So,
I mean, it's
so-
just
and by the way,
inappropriate.
Totally,
kind
yeah,
woman.
completely.
She wasn't. I was worried because she wasn't judgy. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't get a vibe from her, and that's
Yeah,
the
like
whole
she
thing.
wasn't all
They're the
listen,
worst.
fatty.
Exactly.
You got
They're
a
the worst.
diabetes eye, and we got to take care of it.
Feel the vibe when
Right,
you
yeah.
walk into an office and a doctor doesn't want to touch you, right?
Yeah.
There's like you get a certain vibe. She was not that. She was really cool. Like we chatted about a lot of other things. Like that's why it really freaked me out. But that's how deep the weight bias goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say her default button went there before. I don't know if I'm on board with this doctor in regards to how great she is, because I just feel like,
But she was
did go
kind.
there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
could be
think that's what
kind
it
and be
was,
like,
yeah.
"You're a fat piece of shit." I mean, like, and smile.
So
It's kind of like, it's like it's like
gross.
people could say that, people say racist things and it's like, no, that's racism.
Right, right, yeah,
no,
for
you're
sure.
You know what I
totally
mean?
right.
Like I know you think you're saying it nicely.
Right.
That was racist.
Right.
So let
Yeah.
me be the one to tell you.
Yeah. That
That
this
you
is
were-
this is weight
it-
bias. You have
Yeah,
fat
like,
bias.
and some people don't even realize that they're
So, Kathy, your
Speaking a
challenge for
certain
this
way.
week is to go back there and tell her that
Go
you
back
had
to that lens
conjunctivitis
grafter.
and not diabetes eye.
and just blink
Just
the
be
whole
like,
time.
Just be like this. Just be like, hey, you have a weight
I've never even
bias,
heard
and I
that.
want you to take this quiz. It's going to be on Books for Better Living.
Oh, which is really, yes. There are quizzes you can take to see if you have fat or thin bias. By the way, I have thin bias. I like fat people more than I like
I
thin
know,
people.
and I was.
Oh my God, I want to take the test.
No, you should. I took the test, and I have a fat bias.
Which is just like a small.
No,
Yeah.
yes, a moderate favoritism towards thin people.
Yes. But it's fascinating. It was fascinating.
I-
I'll send it
But
to you.
most people have a strong bias towards, like, it was like 38% of people have a bias towards fat people.
Like
Yes.
a strong
Yes,
bias.
of
a strong
course.
bias.
Yes.
One of our readers,
It's like people in LA, but when you say you're from New Jersey.
Oh, you're from Jersey?
Jersey?
Get out of
Yeah.
here, Rosa.
Exactly.
we don't like it, kind.
Where's that test?
The Jersey bias. We're gonna write it.
I'm like scared. They're like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, East Coast." Literally afraid to say New Jersey.
that's
And then like you
amazing.
meet me, you're like, "Yep, she's from Jersey." There's no hiding. There's no hiding.
But there's so many tests on there, by the way. You can
Yeah.
take a test to see if you're more biased towards Donald Trump or Bill Clinton.
Oh well.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
lots
there's,
of-
there's lots of stuff.
A lot of things you could do when you're on that bidet. Take those tests.
I want to talk about one of our viewers wrote. We asked a lot of people. I'm trying to elevate the program.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kathy's like, let's get
fighting
back on track.
on
We're
track.
talking about Rosa's bidet. Kathy.
Her
Purchased like 7. Everyone got one for Christmas.
Her discount to
For
bed.
real.
I can't.
Bidet.
I can't say. Okay. So one of our viewers wrote in and said told this story, and this is even dangerous because this weight bias thing starts when kids are young, and then it creates like psychological issues, and then
true.
builds eating disorders very young in people. So I thought the story, because she was younger, was really important. She was in, this is Elizabeth Mobley.
You can put the meme up, Jarvis.
She was in high school and her period just stopped. She went to the doctor, and who said it was just because of her weight, and sent her to a nutritionist to learn how to lose weight. Thank God her mother was her advocate, and she fought to find someone who would take her seriously. A couple doctors later, BT dubs, lots of money, she was diagnosed with a tumor on her pituitary gland. And it was benign and treatable, thank God. But even to this day, she still has issues with it, and she has a hard time as an adult.
And it was still a medical condition that was unrelated to her weight.
Exactly.
And the doctor
unrelated.
missed that.
Yeah. And there's also a problem with there not being equipment for us. Like, they don't want to order MRIs because people won't fit into the machines. They're not built for bigger people. There's there are tests. So drug trials are not.
How much more you need?
They don't accept
people over a certain weight.
Yeah.
So then the amount of drugs you get, your doses are not correct.
Right. They're not comparable to your body's
especially
size.
they said with antibiotics and with chemotherapy.
Yeah, but even with people,
treatments.
I mean, the other extreme who are too thin. You know,
Sure.
some
Yeah.
people could take one and one small milligram of something and they respond differently. So I think that in
both
general
ways.
needs to be both ways.
Investigate.
Yeah,
Yeah, they need
but
to
even
do
like,
a broad-
I think like hospitals, like you're saying, like the wheelchair thing and the it's the whole beds.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And unfortunately, Rosa has had some family stuff, guys, that you wouldn't wish on anybody.
There's been some suffering that has happened. You know, we've had some hospital stayed, and my families were all big. We've all been big, tall and big all around. You know, and it's kind of I remember we had to get a bed at some point for someone. Like they had to bring in a bed from an outside company. You know, it's not. It's I don't know. You would think that they would be a little bit more, have more of awareness of certain things. You know, even like walkers.
Yeah.
You know, somebody would need a bigger walker versus a smaller, the walkers. The things you didn't even think of.
Yeah.
You know?
And it is, and I think we need to start thinking about it. One thing that we did find is that there are a lot of people who are trying to legislate this, like trying to get drug trials to be more inclusive with bodies.
Especially when there's
dangerous.
67%
How is that not even a
of
thing
American
already?
women are.
It's so dangerous.
I know.
It's careless.
Yeah.
It's actually
It's sloppy.
careless.
It's lazy. It's
Yeah.
lazy.
Being
It's lazy.
Yeah.
It's lazy.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that's not being researched. I mean, that this day and age.
Yeah.
Come on.
And it's going to take one big hospital, just like in the fashion industry. It's going to take one big school.
It's going to take one big lawsuit.
Yeah.
Is what it's going to take. Watch how quick they start learning.
Rose is going to be the one who's going to do it.
I mean, God forbid. You know,
Yeah.
you're giving a little too much or a little too little.
Yeah.
And
well, they were even saying with anesthesia, it's an issue too.
Yeah, of course.
And that
Is the
people
first
are
question
not
they
giving
ask. Yeah.
that. People are not getting the correct amount of anesthesia during surgery.
Yeah, that's why you see all those videos of people being all crazy afterwards, because they're overdosed.
They're overdosed.
They're not.
I don't think they do ask you though your weight when you go in.
No,
I don't know,
they
it's
do.
balanced.
They do, but it's
it's
still
not like a balanced like 10 milligrams.
It's kind of like
more.
they're not sure. We'll just figure it out.
Right, but it's
kind of thing.
because the average dose is skewed so low. Do you
Right.
see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, sure.
So then
Then they have to kind of
so
figure
then
it
they
out.
have to figure it out, and so they go, "Oh, we'll just double it," and then I'm sure that's too much. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, well,
it's
that's where
because
and
of
there's
the
the lawsuit.
averages.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I'm
because
saying.
of
Yeah,
averages, and it's gonna take like a UPenn, you know what I mean, like a Kaiser,
Sure.
a somebody,
Yeah.
to really be forward thinking in this and to make it. You know, like there are ways to teach people about their fat bias. Do you know what I mean? Like this can be helped. You can unlearn your fat bias. And there's a group, and we talked about it on here before, a community called HAZE, Health at Any Size. And
Health at every size.
Health at Every Size. Sorry. There's another hashtag that is. Anyway, that's
But the community
yeah,
is
community
the
is
HAZE community, HAES.
Health at
Every size, yeah.
And it was started by a doctor, but it doesn't end there. It goes to all different kinds of wellness professionals,
But not even just wellness professionals, like really anybody. Like we are members of the HAZE community, and you can be a member of the HAZE community. Just saying that that you truly believe that everybody deserves to receive treatment and care and be treated like a human.
Yeah. And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, the great thing about Instagram, and let's like roll back to Instagram for a sec, is that it has blown up this idea that beauty and health only look one way. So, and fashion. So now you have all of these people who are creating their own content. And by the way, I'm doing this 50-kilometer hike and I'm
still
a size
getting
18.
fat shamed.
Yeah. And still getting fat shamed, but still doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a girl who's an amazing dancer that like every time she posts a picture of her in pointe shoes, I'm like repost. Like I'm obsessed with her, you know? And
the young girl.
Yeah. There's this one, the one I'm thinking of, I think is in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
But no, there's a blonde. Oh yes, the young blonde girl who's adorable. Yes.
Amanda?
No, that's oh my god, I know them all.
She knows all the dancers.
Amanda is the hip hop dancer.
Yes,
and
I
she's
love
incredible
her.
too. But like, there's like a bunch of like really healthy, amazing women showing that if you're claiming health, that's actually not what it is.
No, for sure. And what I thought was shocking was not really shocking, but kind of like, okay, we need to kind of get it together. Was that on the Haze community, you can like do a search for different professions and see who lives near you that you can work with. And there was not one single trainer, like physical trainer, like exercise trainer in Los Angeles that was Haze.
Okay, guys.
We
know you're out there, so get on it. This is us. We're going to post it on our Facebook page. So it's @+this_show, and we're going to promote it. So if you are, and I know I have some friends who are trainers. If you don't know
and
about
if you
this,
are Haze, like you believe that you can be healthy and still be bigger, if you really believe that, then you should join the community and take the pledge.
For sure. Rosa, we have to wrap it up. It always goes by so fast.
Too fast.
You guys are great. It's
We
so
love you so
wonderful
much.
seeing
Thank you for
both.
coming on.
So much. Thank you for
having
joining
me
us.
again.
Do you
and
like our
see- I know. I am like, look at the upgrade.
We have a ring light and everything.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Rosa Graz, RosaGrazz, and then you could see my nails and my bidet. No,
Now she has to post a picture of her bidet. Just like,
I did at one point. I did a video once, and I was like, "This is too much.
too much.
TMI.
Too much.
Amazon's going to be like, why do we have a bump in the Los Angeles area?
I want my percentage.
It's the Rosa bump.
It's the Rosa.
You're all gonna be real happy, especially the ladies. No.
Amazing. Well, thank you again. She's gonna make us something one day. We have to.
We're gonna do a Facebook Live in her bedroom.
We're gonna do a Facebook Live. We'll have a dinner, and then we're gonna go out, and we're gonna get ready,
and we're gonna get all ready, and then we're gonna go out and be like,
and we'll take pictures of us doing that too.
Yes.
Remember? Excited.
Bored. I'm always like, waste of mascara.
Excellent. Can't wait to see you next week, guys. Same time,
love
same place.
you.
Thank
Love you
you.
guys.
It was wonderful.
Bless us.